Hi everyone, thank you for joining our most recent AMA live stream from Aventus. I can see that my internet connection is not very good today, so apologies in advance for anyone watching this if this one's a bit glitchy. But this is a special one. It's our first AMA as the Aventus DAO. So I think we're all quite excited to share our updates with you, and we're just going to get going. Okay, so some quick intros because we have some new faces on the call today. Matthias, do you want to take us away?
Sure. Hey, I'm Matthias Homan. I'm the council chair of the Aventus DAO. Most recently, I've been head of strategic partnerships at Sitel Digital, an asset manager focused on early stage blockchain projects, and we're also an investor in Aventus. Before that, I was a chief operating officer of a small startup in the Web3 gaming space where we used Aventus for the tokenization of our reward system. And before jumping into the blockchain world, I spent over 15 years in traditional finance, working in capital markets, derivatives, alternative asset management for companies like Morgan Stanley, Royal Bank of Canada, both in London, and before that at Erste Group in Vienna. I'm very excited about what Aventus is building, and I'm really looking forward to being part of the journey. My role as council chair is to oversee high-level strategy and make sure we always act in the network's best interest.
Thanks, Matthias. Sean, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. No one wants to have to do an intro after Matthias because it's never going to sound very good, but I'll try my best here. So I'm a council member as well for the DAO. A bit of background on myself. So I started my career in finance. I worked in finance for 5 or 6 years, a few different places as a software engineer. And then I made the move over to big tech and worked at Amazon for a couple of years, leading a couple of teams there in their devices organization. And then when I heard about what Aventus's vision was for Aventus Cloud, I thought it was super exciting. So I was happy to join the team and see what we could build together.
Thanks, Sean. Ochi.
Hey, hello everybody. My name is Ochi. I've been with Aventus for quite some time, less than 5 years. I work as a head of operations at Aventus Network Services Limited, and within Aventus DAO Limited, I am one of the council members as well, and also will be managing the day-to-day operations along with Sean and Matthias. So my background, I did a degree in mathematics and did my ACCA course and wanted to go into finance, or accountancy rather, but then ended up fall into business operations, and I've loved it since. So I've worked in various banks and retail banks, or even in my first accounting or accountant role was within the Guy's and St. Thomas's NHS Foundation Trust. So yeah, I'm really excited to be part of this team and continue to work with Aventus through its next journey. Thank you.
Fernanda, looks like you're in the same room as Ochi.
Yes, we're all in the same room. So hello everyone, it's very nice to be here and to have the opportunity to connect a little bit with the community. My name is Fernanda. My background is actually in aircraft engineering, but I've been working in project management for over 9 years now. Started of course with aviation and then moved to Web3. I really like to work with Aventus. We have an amazing team of engineers and non-tech team as well. It's been about 4 years now. And yes, I'm very happy to work with them and to help them achieve the product goals. So that's me. Pass it to Ellie.
Thanks, Fernanda. Yeah, I think most of you who are watching this probably know me by now. I've been on 1 or 2 of these. I've been running marketing for Aventus Network Services and also the community for around 3 years now. Excited to continue working with the DAO and some familiar faces from the team, new faces from the team, and sharing with the community everything that we're doing. And on that note, here is what we're doing. So Matthias, do you want to maybe give us a quick overview of the DAO itself, what it is, its purpose, and what it hopes to achieve?
Sure. I mean, hopefully by now most people will have at least heard that once or twice and know more or less what the DAO is. But just to really make it clear, the Aventus DAO is the decision-making body of the entire Aventus ecosystem. So you can think of it as a decentralized government. Its core function is to ensure long-term health and growth of the network. And as the DAO, we are responsible for key decisions determining where resources go, prioritizing our growth, and setting the overall direction for the ecosystem. This includes everything from large-scale funding initiatives to key partnership decisions, such as at the moment, partnerships with node sellers. The operation is built on a formal constitution and regulatory framework. This is crucial for transparency and legitimacy. We will work together with the broad democratic input of the token holders via on-chain governance. So all the proposals that the community can put forward, we are responsible for ultimately executing. Why does the DAO exist? It exists to solve the critical challenge in decentralized systems that you always have, ensuring true longevity and accountability. Our primary purpose is to establish transparent and accountable decision-making concerning the DAO's treasury, as well as proceeds generated by node sales. By giving votes to each token holder, the DAO aligns incentives across the entire community, so token holders, service providers, and the innovators like builders and partners. And if the network succeeds, then everyone benefits. The structure guarantees that the Aventus network can thrive independently of any one single company. So it is a sustainable, decentralized engine for growth, and it's built to last. So, I mean, to just basically summarize the DAO objectives, our main objectives can be split down into 4 key areas. That's resource management, adoption, community, and protection. So we're responsible for governing the allocation of resources, as I mentioned, whether it's strategic grants to ecosystem builders, whether it's funding business development campaigns, or even just strengthening our cooperations. We actively work to accelerate the adoption of the Aventus network. So this includes providing necessary resources for the Aventus cloud, scaling up key partnerships, and onboarding new app chains to the platform. Obviously, community is key for Aventus, and the decentralized network is only as strong as its community. So we are dedicated to growing and deeply engaging our base of token holders, but also the node operators and the builders developing in the network. Ultimately, every action we take is designed to protect and enhance the value and resilience of the Aventus ecosystem, and ensuring it remains robust and secure and just ready for future growth, really.
Amazing, thanks. Yeah, so I think that was a pretty comprehensive overview of the DAO's purpose. Thanks to Matthias. And Ochi, I guess you are, as the DAO manager and with your history in spearheading operations for Aventus for almost half a decade, which is crazy to think, responsible for, well, should take credit for all the work that has been done on the operational side, getting the DAO up and running. And I think this is probably where most of the last month has been spent, and things that were essential to unlock future work that's going to happen. So yeah, maybe you can run us through what has been happening on the operations side this last month.
Sorry, I'm speaking on mute. Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, you summarized it very well, Ellie. So what have we achieved since the governance proposal passed? Well, one thing for sure, we just obtained our license to operate at Ras Al Khaimah in UAE this very moment. So it's a yay. So we can really get on and set up our entity now. And so from the list, most of these have been shared with the community as and when each of those milestones were achieved. So thank you, Ellie and Pacman, for that. So talking about, the license applications and the appointment of key personnel, memorandum of association, and so on and so forth. So I'm not going to read through all of that. But in regards to the vendor selection, our current service provider to Aventus Network Services Limited primarily operates within the UK and European regions, so such as accountants and GDPR, lawyers and insurance providers, and so on and so forth. Therefore, we have been speaking to multiple vendors, and so hopefully we should have all the service providers who operate within the Gulf region lined up before the November comes to an end. And then now that, as I mentioned, license has been granted, so what is next? So we will start on setting up the operational structure as per the strategy. And I shan't bore you with all the administrative details, and we'll provide a nice summary when we speak before Christmas. So next slide, please.
Yeah, I just want to highlight before I move to the next slide how important all of this stuff that you do, Ochi, is, because a lot of things that people see on the usual front end, like to be honest, it's usually mostly marketing things, influencer campaigns, social media campaigns, fancy videos, or like, product launches and updates. They're great, but client announcements, all essential for a business to run, but none of those things can happen without all of this admin and operations work that you often don't hear about, you often don't think about when you think about all the things that have to be done, but are so essential and time consuming. So yeah, I just want to say thanks, basically.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so it really is the true, isn't it? When I first worked in operations, and then one of the other ops managers said that operations is the function invisible. So if it's sort of like a clock, that the back of the clock, all the wheels and everything is a product and technology and marketing team. We are the oil that actually helps everything sort of moving along smoothly. But yeah, thank you. And I do work in the team that is very appreciative and which makes my working life greatly enjoyable. So yeah.
Good. I'm glad. And I think these monthly updates hopefully will shed some light on all this work that usually just happens silently in the background. Okay, next slide.
Cool. All right. So the next slide. So the community, probably you may notice that our Treasury wallet address has changed. That is because we have decided to upgrade our old, previous multi-sig wallet to the safe wallet, and it just means that it would operate a lot more efficiently and transparently, and then anybody can still log on to Etherscan and then be able to see all the full transactions and balances and so on and so forth. So I've also listed the existing balance for the Aventus community treasury there. And that's it from me. And we will continue to report on the variances next month as well.
Perfect, thanks, Ochi. Okay, moving on to an update on node sales. Sean, over to you.
Thank you, Ellie. And yeah, I think I'd like to just echo what you were saying there, Ellie, about Ochi's hard work and the fact that really without that, nothing else can really happen. So it's kind of a crucial foundational step, and Ochi's been working super hard over the last month for the sake of all of us, I think, which is great. So yeah, definitely thank you, Archie. And now I think it's getting to the point that we can also start doing more things, right? Now that some of the operational stuff is out of the way. So on the node sales, again, a lot of this is warming up what we want to be able to do once all the legals are in place operationally. But still, we've been warming up the first pipeline of node buyers. So that's working with the node sellers and thinking about anyone that might be interested in learning more about the Aventus Cloud vision and investing in nodes. Obviously, with that comes the educational side of it, because as you can imagine, for some people that might be interested in buying nodes, some high net worths that aren't necessarily super familiar with blockchain or the Web3 space, the idea of a node in itself can be pretty alien, and so there's been quite a lot of hopping on calls with node sellers and prospects, and basically just trying to explain to them really what a node is, and how the rewards work, and what the roadmap is in the future, and why they should also be excited about this, what it means for us to work with the company and onboard an app chain, and how that can help them. So there's been a lot of these kinds of conversations going on with potential prospects and node sellers as well, just to make sure that everyone's on the same page.
I heard
Obviously,
you call yesterday, Sean, with some potential node people who might be interested in running nodes, and you were like, oh, you'll obviously know what a blockchain is, right? And some of them didn't know what blockchain was. So when we're talking about the education that has to go into, selling these nodes, it's quite intensive.
That's it, 100%. And actually, like to that end, we've with coordination with Ellie, we're going to create like a video of sort of a visual explanation of really to help me out in these calls a little bit, because I found myself a few times being in a situation where I'm explaining what a node is, but then I'm using words like app chains and rewards and stuff, and then you need to start explaining what they are, and before you know it, I've bored the prospect for 20 minutes, and then it's not the way forward. So I think we're going to create a nice video which will help visually explain what a node is and the purpose of a node and in the network and how it helps, which is going to be good. But yeah, there's been a lot of those conversations, so we're getting better at explaining what a node is for sure. There's been a lot of coordination with the DAO legal to prepare the agreement that we have with the node sellers. And we did have the first node seller actually launched to the community. So the community can go and buy nodes as of now with Block Terminal, which is a testament of the fact that node sellers want to work with us and believe in the Aventus Cloud vision, which is great. There's also a lot of ensuring the node sellers are following messaging that we kind of agree on, and this is I guess a problem that can come in the setup that we have here is that there's node sellers are separate companies, but they're selling something that we're creating, right? And so when they're doing that selling, we want to make sure that they're selling the correct thing, essentially. Like we want to make sure that the way that they talk about rewards is accurate and is fair, and there's no overinflation of what could happen. And we don't want any, let's say, false information to be passed through to potential buyers through the node sellers. So we want to make sure that's all compliant as well. So there's been a lot of work on trying to get that messaging consistent in terms of onboarding those node sellers, which is a big part of what we've been doing. And then establishing the foundational growth funnel. So this is just the go-to-market, trying to through this education of potential prospects and then people that they know and so on and so forth. Basically getting the pipeline together to hit the ground running in the launch phase once we get the founding trans sold. So that's the update on the node sales. I think we can move to the next slide if that's all right, Ellie.
Yeah. Again, loads of invisible foundational work that people might not see that has to happen behind the scenes before you have the big flashy, public-facing announcements that then follow. So I think it's good that you have the opportunity to share these updates on what's happening. Okay, next slide. So Sean, you mentioned at the beginning, your role is covering not only the commercial side of, I think you mentioned it. If you didn't,
I actually maybe I didn't mention that. Yeah. But yeah, maybe I'll quickly mention that. So my role as a council member is essentially going to be heading up the product marketing, tech, and growth initiatives at the DAO. So product and tech is something that I'm going to have to be heavily involved in, and I'm very excited to be heavily involved in, which is one of the reasons I'm doing this is obviously because of my experience leading teams at Amazon. So this is something I'm super excited about doing. And Aventus already has a bunch of great tech, but now we're looking forward to the future and the kind of tech and the products that we want to build for Aventus Cloud. And so we obviously have the light paper, and the white paper is defining sort of the how on a high level how things are going to work, but then it's taking that and translating that into the actual software programmatically. So there's been obviously a lot of work on making sure that technical roadmap is looking good and is feasible, and we can hit all of our deadlines. And actually, we wanna try and do much better than the deadlines. So there's a lot of work on that, and DAO transparency dashboard is something I'm quite excited about with the nature of what we're going to be doing here. I love dashboards in general, especially visually nice looking ones, and I think there's lots of cool information we could display to the community and from what's happening behind the scenes. Nice visual dashboards showing total node sales and activated, and maybe even geographically. I've got a bunch of ideas that we can work on in the background, but there's going to be quite a few dashboards, again, for the sake of transparency, just so you guys can see what's going on behind the scenes more. And then onboarding of the external node sellers, again, this is to do with how we work with them from a technical standpoint, which is not super simple. I would say there's some snags there that need to just be well thought through, and that we're coming up with a technical plan to make sure that, especially as we get into the launch phase, everything works smoothly, especially considering working with multiple node sellers. So from the back-end technical standpoint, we need to make sure that it's a cohesive product. But yeah, I think that's basically the high-level overview of product and tech there. Thanks, Ellie.
Thanks, Sean. Talking about amazing tech and amazing tech team and developers that Aventus has, Fernanda, I am excited for you to talk through a deep dive around what product and tech has been doing over the last month. I can't lie, some of this I don't understand, but I know we do have some developers and tech natives in our community who hopefully will understand everything you're talking about.
Thank you so much, Ellie. Thank you. So today I'll just give a short overview, right, of what the team has been working and completing recently. So in order to give the network more flexibility and more precise control on how the fees are handled, the team has improved recently the gas fee mechanics by removing from the old currency trades to the new fungible trades on the Polkadot SDK. They have also strengthened the tier 1 growth mechanism. That's by adding a retries. Basically means that if something goes as unexpected, the system can recover automatically. The legacy staking tab and the old reward logics were also removed. That's to align with the new token model. The validator registration flows were refined. That makes our processes more robust. And the bridging capabilities were also expanded, so now this network can support more than one layer 1 bridge, which gives us more flexibility for future cross-chain integrations as well. Besides that, a new watchtower model was implemented. That's to improve the early detection of unexpected behavior and also to give the team more visibility across the network in general. Work is also in progress to an upgrade to a newer Polkadot SDK release that will allow us to benefit from the latest ecosystem updates. And also the team completed improvements to the indexing capabilities. That's to index data without causing any downtime. On the infrastructure and on the DevOps side, the team also has made several improvements. That's to make the system more stable and our workflows more streamlined. For example, they have modernized the Jenkins pipelines, they migrated the public VPC to a more secure environment. They have also reduced the alerts noise in Slack and created a centralized DevOps tools. That's to make a single portal where the engineers can navigate easier to find the tools. So that's a summary of what has been done recently.
Just one or two things. It's not like you guys have been busy at all this last month. Okay, and thank you for the explanation. It was very clear. Even I understood everything you said. Okay, and I think this is things that are in progress are going to be happening over the coming month, right?
Yes, exactly. So just looking ahead, the team will be focusing on a few key areas, right? So they'll be completing the deprecation of staking by removing the remaining delegated reward logic. They will be also introducing a generic burn mechanism that will automatically burn a portion of the transaction fees to support a simpler token model. And they will also be improving the automation by deploying GitHub Actions runners on EKS and also updating the API testing frameworks to make the development faster and more reliable as well. So that's it.
Amazing. Thanks, Fernanda. I don't know that I should have put my section straight after Fernanda's section. Bit of a tough act for me to follow, but just a quick update on what we've been busy doing in marketing. So we've been putting a lot of thought and work into our community management strategy following some very constructive community feedback. We are, like Sean said, lots of what we're doing is in preparation for when the DAO has been incorporated, which officially, as Ochi mentioned, happened today. The same is gone for on the marketing front, right? So lots of preparation for when the DAO has been put in place, for when node seller agreements have been signed. On brand preparation, narrative refinement for a big public-facing launch once we hit that activation threshold of $1 million in sales. Clear communication, like this AMA, around progress, FAQs to make sure everyone understands what Aventus Cloud is, what the DAO is, how you can get involved, what the benefits might be, and aligning all stakeholders on priorities. So by that we mean supporting Sean and his team with providing the materials that the node seller partners might need, working with the tech team to make sure that we're communicating what they're doing and then communicating back from node sellers, node owners, community members back into the tech team, feedback that we might be getting. And primarily building our launch toolkit for the big launch. So that includes social and community strategy, node owner support and documentation for when we do ultimately have people running these nodes and they're live, how they, troubleshooting, maintaining, making sure that everything is in place there. We're planning a big press push once that activation threshold is reached, so making sure that we have all of the things that we need in place for that: press releases, quotes, approvals, PR agencies, media relations, or again, lots of behind the scenes stuff. You often will see a press release go out. There's about 10 steps that have to happen before that happens. And an influencer and KR strategy that we are working on around the launch as well to do our part in driving awareness and hopefully new community members and node owners. There's some other stuff that's been happening in marketing that's not to do with Aventus DAO, which is what this call is focused on, so I won't spend too much time on that. But lots of you are aware of potential new ecosystems that we are speaking to about collaboration. So hopefully, all being well, we might have an update for you there in the coming months. No promises, but fingers crossed. And I think that's everything from us, unless there's anything that the rest of my DAO team members would like to add before we sign off.
No, I just wanted to say thank you, Ellie, because you're really one of our critical member within our organization, and how you manage all the marketing and our community. It's I've said it before, but my hat's off to you, and also organizing this call as well, so then we can give all the relevant updates to our community members.
Thanks so much. Jochi.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Ellie.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you so much for all of you taking time out of your day to join to give this update. Thank you to our community for joining and listening. As always, any questions, send them over in Telegram and we will get answers to you as soon as possible. You might have seen that my background has got progressively darker over the duration of this call. And so I think that might be our cue to sign off until next time. We will be doing these DAO updates once a month. So we'll see you back here next month.
All right. Thank you.
Great.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Cheers.